to Let's Play Gran Turismo 2, Episode 6. So, you may remember in the previous segment we notably completed the International B license, and well, now of course we officially need to go for our 5th license in the game, which is notably the International A license. So we of course are now going to exit our home page, head back over to the license center and get on with our 5th and penultimate license of the game. Circle track. 3. Oversteer. This tests your skill in a powerful rear-wheel drive car. If you accelerate while the steering wheel is to the left or right, you oversteer right away and start spinning. Learn how to accelerate just right to avoid spins, and learn how to countersteer. So this is officially our 3rd circle track test in the game, and notably overall of course, as you can see up there, it is oversteer, since we are notably driving a front transmission rear wheel drive car, and like of course with the previous license test we did, we are once again using a Dodge Viper GTS, and our gold time is a 31.55. 32.2 for silver and a 33.4 for bronze. And switching to analog mode, mainly because obviously I keep saying time and time again, obviously I'm a fucking analog player, but anyways, let's get to it. Our first test of the International A license. So shifting into 3rd gear, waiting to see if that might actually do anything for me. Okay, 17.5 my first lap, but I don't think this one is going to be good enough for gold. Okay, I'm running wide a little bit, we'll wait and see. Okay, so 31.9 for our first run, but obviously I wasn't going to expect myself to get this one on the gold first try, but obviously it's very much unlikely for someone like me to officially achieve the gold on my first attempt. And so now of course we need to see how many attempts it will take us to turn that silver into a gold. Just depends on knowing, of course, if my tactics will eventually work. And I'm hoping they do. Okay, 17.4 my first lap. Let's see, will this one do it? And yes, it will. On only my 3rd attempt, I have officially made it the gold. And also, furthermore as well as that, I was just over a 10th quicker than my previous PB. So, in my honest opinion, that 3rd and final run was probably the best one I did. Thinking as though I actually got the gold also by 14 thousandths of a second. Anyways. 1 down, 9 to go. Super fast corners. 1. This is a set of fast corners. At the first right corner, a downhill goes into an uphill, so G-force adds weight to the car and helps steering. The next left corner is on a hilltop, so the car is lighter and steering is weaker. Speed up at the last exit. So it's basically a downhill to an uphill complex, and well, as far as I know, of course, I think it's probably their imitation of the corner Eau Rouge from Spa-Francorchamps, which essentially overall is basically a downhill entry and then just immediately flows onwards by an uphill section on the other side into Radion. If any of you have heard of the circuit Spa-Francorchamps, it's essentially the most well-known racing facility in Belgium, or racetrack, if you wanted me to be specific. And also, the car we are driving for this test is a TBR Griffith 500, and the goal time we need is a 23.7, silver is a 24.6, and the bronze is a 26.8. Let's see how we go, even though obviously I will not get this on the gold on my first attempt, but we'll wait and see. So yeah. Okay, just keeping it in third gear. And yep, okay, that did not work. My first attempt, and I already failed. Well, guess it's time for attempt number 2. A very blind corner, in my honest opinion. So, I'm really not thinking this will be worthy of a gold. Well, at least I managed to complete a run this time, and surprisingly overall, I'm only about 16 hundredths away from the gold. So now, of course, that I've officially passed this test, let's see how long this will take us to get the gold. Whatever I did on that previous run, it clearly didn't help me out. Just depends on knowing, of course, if I'll be a bit more successful on this run, and oh, okay. I was actually more successful on that run. And furthermore, as well as that, I was just over 3.5 tenths quicker than my previous PB. Personal best. But anyways, there we go. And it only took me 4 failed attempts to actually get the gold on this one. Considering obviously my first attempt was a failure, but eventually overall I did manage to get the gold anyways. Now time for number 3. P-cornering 9, Apricot Hill. This is the start of Apricot Hill Speedway. A tough section with 2 left corners in a row. First, at the gentle left turn in and cut inside of the green rock, and slow and aim for the outside of the next turn, tight left. Use braking while turning in. So it's basically the first section of Apricot Hill in this game, which essentially overall is notably the first of many new circuits they officially added to this game, and subsequently overall, of course, many people since the release of this game have notably seen Apricot Hill as being one of the classics, and I can very much see why as well. So, if you are going for a gold, the time you need is a 30.2, silver a 31.5, and a bronze is a 32.6. And the car we are driving for this test is a Honda NSX Type S 0. Let's see how we go for our first attempt. Hopefully we can go well, regardless of the circumstances, of course. Yep, okay, that's exactly the opposite of the way I was wanting the start of this test to go. But anyways, as you could probably see there were arrows. And I think, in my honest opinion, that was actually good for a first attempt. Although obviously, it was relatively simple for me to get the silver, and I am thankful for that, but anyways. I still need to improve by more than 5.5 tenths if I'm going to get the gold. Let's see if I can find those pretty much 5.6 tenths that I'm searching for to hopefully clinching the gold. Fortunately, the curbs are not long enough to save me from the grass. And again, I think I can only really blame myself for that one. Okay, could this be it? Could this be it? There we go. We had the adequacy, and the adequacy eventually turned out to be enough. So, definitely not the most difficult one, but again, because of my incompetence, obviously, that was precisely where most of the struggling came from. Anyways. Rally 3, Smoky Mountain, North. This is a fast dust. Sorry, I really cannot read. This is the fast dirt section near the end of the Smoky Mountain North course. On dirt, driving translates slowly into a change of direction, and you cannot trace well unless you consider the course layout and manoeuvre with a quick, even tempo. So it's another rally test, and essentially overall the goal time we need is dead on 25 seconds. Silver is a 26.3 and a 29, and a 29 dead is what we need for a bronze. But obviously, because I want to get the prize car, I am easily going to be going for all gold. And also, the car we are driving in this is a Ford Escort rally car, and I do believe, as far as I know, this is also the RS Cosworth model as well, if I'm not mistaken. If I know it's going to be an Escort. Guess we'll just have to wait and see, but I'm sure it is. Anyways, let's give this a go and see how we do. Okay, giving this a go. Oh, okay. Well, not too far off the gold, but again, I still think I need to improve by 3 tenths if I am going to get the gold. But again, I probably wasn't concentrating, but anyway. Let's see how many attempts this will take us to get the gold. let's see if I can improve on this run. Okay, doing good at the moment. This could be potentially adequate. But will it be enough? That's the real question. And I booped the wall, but somehow, in spite of that, the adequacy was enough. By 9,000ths of a second, it was enough to get me the gold. Even though obviously it had to be my incompetence that came before my skill, as usual. But anyways, 4 down, 6 to go. Hill climbing techniques. This test is only for top drivers with high power monster machines ready for the challenging Pikes Peak hill climb road. The key is knowing when to speed up, to which the car responds strongly, and when to slow down. So essentially overall, we are driving the Pikes Peak, and of course we are notably driving none other than the ultra-powered monster machine of the hill climb itself, the Suzuki Escudo Pikes Peak version. So a 27.3 is what we need for gold, 28.8 a silver, and a 31 dead for a bronze. And as far as I know, of course, this could probably take some getting used to. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. I'd see how we go for our first attempt, considering obviously I'm not predicting a gold on that first attempt. But we'll wait and see. Yep, okay. I seriously forgot how powerful the Escudo is. Well, at least it's good enough for silver. And it immediately stops as soon as it touches the wall. Or the rock, I should say. Or is that a dune? Nah, it's a rock. But anyways, that was my first attempt, and I actually did better than I thought I was going to with that first run. But anyways, I'm still 1.1 seconds off, and so obviously I need to find those 1.1 seconds in order to get the gold. Fucking hell. I think I just touched the wall a little there. Could this be enough? And yes it can! In spite of me once again hitting the wall right at the last moment. It was enough to give me the gold by 7,000ths of a second. Somehow. In spite of me touching the wall right before the finish, which would have easily fucked up my run under normal circumstances, I somehow got the gold by 7,000ths of a second. And already in less than an hour, I am now already halfway through this license. Now we move on to the second half. Downhill techniques. You're driving an FF rally car downhill on Pikes Peak. The car wants to speed up and is hard to slow down, so start braking early and keep your speed on target. It's an FF car, so if you lose control of speed, you'll start understeering. So the gold time we need in this one is a 36.3 silver, a 38 dead, and a bronze is a 40 dead. And of course, the car we are driving for this test is a Peugeot 306 S16. And as for my first attempt, I'm definitely not going to get this on the gold, even if I wanted to. Yep, okay. That is understeer. The understeer is preventing me from steering deep into the corner. That is the result of oversteer. And I failed. But again, that was only because I knew very well that was going to be a terrible run. So now all I need to do is try to see if I can pass it. And if I can, then I will be relieved. Well, at least I managed to get a silver. So, I did manage to pass this time, but obviously I still need another 1.2 seconds if I am going to be good enough for the gold. And I have a feeling I'm probably going to be struggling on this one. But in the meantime, we shall wait and see. All we need to find is 1.2 seconds. Okay, so I think my entries are okay, but obviously my exits are appalling. Hoping I can hopefully make an improvement on this. And indeed I do. So even though I was probably expecting this one to be another silver run, surprisingly in the end it actually turned out to be a gold run. So I was not expecting that to happen. But anyways, there we go. It's another gold. And we are now 6 tests down, but yet 4 tests still remain. 6 down, 4 to go. Key cornering, 10, road circuit. This is an urban corner test using a 4-wheel drive car. After the first corner on the Roma course, where the roads and arrows and the tracing is tough, there's a fast switchback at the Colosseum. The key to a fast time is to minimize steering and maintain high speed. So the car we are using this time is an Alfa Romeo 155 touring car, and in order to achieve a gold time we need a 16.35, a 17.2 is the silver time, and an 18.5 is the bronze time. And obviously, I do believe, of course, this is the same corner that we used in, wasn't it IC10? Yeah, IC10, but fortunately for us at least, we are using a quicker Alfa Romeo this time. But again, as ever, there is going to be some pressure. Hopefully we can do well on our first run. Pretty much all I really care about. Trying to see if I can minimize the mistakes on my first run. And that was actually a good time. I actually set a 16.4 on my first attempt. I was not expecting that to happen. But anyways, there's my first attempt. All I need to do now is be quicker by 600ths of a second. Hopefully this will not take me too long to get dark gold. There we go. So all I really needed to do was essentially keep myself out wide whilst I was basically on the exit of the Colosseum. But still, that was definitely easier than the previous test I did around the Colosseum corner. So obviously this test was much easier, was surprisingly much easier for me than the previous test was involving this corner. But anyways, 7 down, 3 to go. P cornering, 11, midfield raceway. Here's a time trial from midfield raceway's middle to final stage. At the first long left turn, control acceleration to prevent understeering. Find the right point to go full throttle, keep your car inside the line when going through the chicane to the hairpin. So a 22.6 is our gold time, a 24 dead is a silver, and the 25 dead is a gold. And the car we are driving in this is a Jaguar XJ220, and I really don't know why it says GT race car, because I'm fairly sure this one is the road car, but anyways. So we are using a Jaguar XJ220 for this test, and we are now returning of course to midfield raceway. Let's see how we go. With there being only 3 tests remaining. Including this one, of course. And already I've missed the shift. Well, at least it's the silver. But I need more than a second if I am going to get the gold. And I accidentally clipped my own headset. Don't ask why, I just did, but anyways. Now it's time to see if we can get the gold. Sensible. This be adequate. And yes, it is. As I am dead on a 10th quicker than my previous PB. But there we go. It is adequate enough for a gold. And surprisingly, this license, very much like the International B license, it has definitely proven to be easier as well as a lot shorter than the International C license had taken me. But anyways, now we move on to our 9th and penultimate test in the game, or test in the International A license. P cornering, 12, Laguna Seca. Here's a top driver's test. Sorry, I still cannot read. Here's a top driver test, clearing the Laguna Seca corkscrew in a pure race car. The car has a lot of downforce when going fast, but it loses it when slowing down. Maneuvering gets more severe at slower speeds, so be careful when braking into the corner. So a 19.85 is what we need for a gold, a 21 dead is a silver, and a 22 dead is what we need for a bronze. And the car we are driving in this, a racing modified Nissan R390 GT1. from 98. And pretty much tackling the same corner that we tackled in IB10 when we drove the Viper. Hopefully this one will go just as well as the last one did a corkscrew, but we'll wait and see. Hopefully we can work something out here. So, let's see. Okay, so it's enough for a silver, but I still need more than a second if I'm gonna get the gold. So, let's see if I can find that second. Okay, this ain't gonna work, this ain't gonna work. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, my correction. It did work, in spite of me briefly getting airborne. In spite of me briefly being airborne on the exit. Somehow that worked. And also, furthermore, I really love it how, notably overall, as soon as the car stops, it actually stops in the grass. It's almost like, pretty much, it's almost like it's fucking burning off a drag strip or something. But anyway. There we go. That was completely unexpected. I was not expecting that one to be a success, but anyway. I think just because I haven't got a replay of a race car yet, I might as well get this one. Just because. Anyways, it is now time for our 10th and final test of the International A license. Super fast corners 2. Here you're driving a pure race car, full of downforce as you maneuver a fast switchback. At the first right turn, where you gain downforce, understeer is hard to get on the outside. Do the same at the next left turn. Acceleration timing is the key. So for our 10th and final test of the International A license, for a gold we need a 17.6, for a silver we need an 18.7, and for a bronze we need a 19.6. And it's basically the same one that we did with the Griffith 500, except this time we are notably using a much more powerful car this time, as we are now using the original Toyota GT1. Again, like with the R390 from 98. So we are using the original Toyota GT1 for this test. Just depends on knowing if I'll be successful or not. Okay, I braked a bit too soon there. Yep, okay. That ain't working, Chief. And I just farted. See. Well, at least I managed to get a pass. But again, I still need about 1.16 seconds if I'm going to get myself the much deserved gold that I want. Well, it took me 7 attempts to pass this, and eventually in the end I did. So we now have our International A license, and obviously I'm not going to save the game yet because I still need to get the car. So, let's see if I can find those additional 1.16 seconds that I so richly need. There we go. I finally cleared this bastard of a corner. Or I should probably say the bastard of an exit that those corners had. But anyways, there we go. And subsequently overall, this turned out to be the only test that I actually struggled with. Mainly because of the way the fucking corner exit is shaped, and also because essentially overall, with me driving this Toyota GT1, I probably failed more times than I passed. But anyways, there we go, it's all gold. In the International A license. Eventually, after many failed attempts, I eventually managed to pass the test. But anyways, so just saving the game now, as we have completed our 5th license in the game. And now we can finally move on. And the reason why I didn't get an image of the Toyota GT1 as well, because essentially overall, I dare to be different. Which is precisely why I saved the replay of the Nissan R390. But anyways, there we go. The International A license is now complete. Our 5th and penultimate license of the game. And as a result of completing that, if I just click on this arrow here, we have now unlocked our 6th and final license of the game. The special license. And of course, I shall be moving on to that one in the next segment. But now of course, it is prize car time. And as a result of getting all gold in the International A license, we get this. A Mitsubishi FTO LM edition. And well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm fairly certain this was another one of the prize cars in GT1, and obviously this is essentially quite a nice looking thing, even though obviously I think there are better colours this car could come in than green. But well, anyways, by the way, I like those rims. Those are some nice rims right there. I think those are meant to be bronze rims or something, but anyways. Moving on to game status, as you take a look at my sweet ass FTO. We now have our International A license, and all we need to do now is obtain our special license. So, that was the International A license. Next up is the special license, for what will officially be our 6th and final license of the game. So, with that, stay tuned for more GT2.